confidence that you can.
As a point of interest, none of my men wear protection in the groin. None.
After all, you wouldn't want your attacker to get injured.
That hurt my foot.
Really high and advanced on his right-hand side so far. Good stuff. All right, and again he's playing in. Kabungo is onside. One over the goalkeeper. What a start to Dallas. Twice he's threatened in that same position. This time he punishes that high. LA Galaxy defensive line. Dallas lead. Afterburn. What a familiar screen there. He steps up out of that back line, wins the ball, but now his head's up. He runs off the ball. Kamungo's not staying on that left-hand side. He makes that run and catches the center back snapping, and then has the composure to finish off the play. But it's all about that movement off the ball from Kamungo to make that run from out to in. And for the young player there on the wing, what a way to open up the scoring campaign tonight. FC Dallas up 1-0. He's been with the U20.
Well, I think the first chance we had, we scored, and then this also gives confidence. And I think the chances were very clear, as we also had in some of those games that we couldn't score a second goal. But I think we had the determination that we had also against RSL, and I'm glad, and I'm really, really proud of the group, of the team, of the players, because this year has been a difficult year with a lot of adversities, and we know how hard we have worked, how much we have suffered, and how much we didn't deserve to be in the last day, just trying to get that spot, and I'm really, really proud of the players.
Well, welcome everybody to Afterburn Soccer. We are live. We welcome you, FC Dallas fans and neighbors and friends and whoever, I guess, is stumbling across the stream. We got FC Dallas to talk about, and for once, it's not a draw at home or away. It is an actual win, 3 points, this time on the road, as FC Dallas defeats the Los Angeles Galaxy 4-1. I'm your host, Nathan Hill. You can follow me at Nathan J. Hill on Twitter. With me is my good buddies, who just are just delightful human beings. We got Jose Carmona. You can follow him at El Chico Carmona, and Ishmael Belcora at Belcora Isma on Twitter, everybody? On X, as they call it. But we got a win to talk about. FC Dallas are in the playoffs. They are in the postseason for the second consecutive year under Nico Estevez. An exciting time. We got a lot to talk about. We got some reactions to the game. And, of course, we'll begin to think about that postseason challenge to come. But let's just start with our reactions to the game. Jose, Ishmael, what did you like about this performance at the Galaxy for FC Dallas to punch their tickets to the postseason?
Well, I said it last week. It's not if they won, it's how they won. We've used to seeing them just try to kill games, and I wanted to see them come out aggressively against a team with a bad defense, and they delivered. I mean, they came out and they played in a style that we've been asking for them, and in a formation that, frankly, they got away from, where they had success with it in the past. And, the minute you saw the lineup, you were like, wow, they actually have Velasco, as a attacking midfielder, and of course, Kamungo starting. I mean, we were all excited just from when the lineup was announced before the match, and they went out and played, some of the best soccer they've played in a while.
Ishmael?
Well, it's a really good result because they did what they needed to do, right? And maybe I have high expectations, but that's kind of the standard based off of how talented I know the squad is. That is somewhat the baseline. I think that is a performance that could have definitely been done against Colorado or against San Jose.
Okay.
Maybe not the same result, because you're not going to score 4 goals in one half in every single game. That's not realistic. But it felt like there was so much more energy and so much more conviction going forward. Something that we can talk about the difference in formation and tactics, but just that energy we haven't seen in a while. And I think that it's insanely important that that is pushed into the playoffs because, again, you're not going to score 4 goals at Lumen Field in Seattle. That would be like franchise changing. You're not going to do that, but just to come out with that same energy, with that same hunger, is incredibly important in this like new playoff format where you have basically 3 games, and like that. I'm cautiously optimistic that that's going to keep going moving forward.
Well, let's not get to Seattle yet because I mean I think that's this 3 playoff format does just add interesting wrinkles to how Dallas can approach and how Dallas might be set up to actually do quite well. But Ishmael, I just want you for a moment. I want you who have been an Ima Tumasi fan for a long time, to just tell us what you saw from him and a huge goal from him that was deserved after a run of play, I think, in these past few games where he has really shown that again, that yes, he is a Major League Soccer level right back. What did you see from your boy Tumasi?
Well, I've never doubted that he's MLS level. I mean, he's always been really, really good defensively. It's just the thing that everyone has been complaining about, and that sometimes I also see it, is very rarely though. Most of the time I'm blinded by how amazing he is. But the complaint that I hear the most is his offensive ability, right? Too many times you see him make that overlapping run, something that he's gotten a lot better with, and then instead of crossing it, he'll cut back inside and pass it back. Or if he crosses it, it'll be overshot. And I think that I've always been a bigger proponent for him being a wing back that cuts inside because I think he does a lot better driving towards defenders instead of going in behind. And that's not what happened in this goal, but that's the kind of positioning that I think he would be ending up in, playing in that kind of inverted wingback role. Now I know that that's not a very popular position for wingbacks in the modern game, and especially with Dallas, it's a lot more overlap. But I mean, it was really cool to see him score. Like that was extremely cathartic moment, and yeah, hope I don't have to wait too long for the next one.
Right, and for a guy who really has converted from an attacking role, it's been unfortunate that he hasn't been more potent on the attack. And some of that is probably what the team wants from him, what coaches want, but it's just complicated. You know, I think fans, we watch and we think sometimes that we turn these players into computer, stat blocks in EA Soccer or whatever, FIFA or whatever, and we don't see that they're just human beings and they have good days and bad days and confusing things and moments of self-doubt. And so it was just nice to see Ima rewarded because for better or worse, at this point, there's no, Giovanni Jesus is out for the season. It's Ima. We're going to have to rely on him to kind of make it through the playoffs and go for a deep run if this team is capable of that. But Jose, again, we've had some question marks about FC Dallas head coach Nico Estevez, his leadership. We've seen that from fans of these past draws. I mean, we've seen some people start to say Nico ball, which is like you play for the draw. But on Saturday night against the Galaxy, they went for it. Is this a vindication of Nico's kind of handling of the team, or do you just think this was overdue? This was just like some of those draws were just some bad luck, some bounces not going Dallas's way.
Yeah, I mean, I think I won't say it's a vindication, but it's only year 2 for him in what is probably a 3 or 4 year build. And I think it's just an indication that we're headed in the right direction. I mean, let's face it, for all our criticism, we have to remember that Nico has dealt with a banged up and beat up lineup, international, absences, and he's handled it quite well. I mean, we don't like the way he's handled it, but he's found a way to keep the team going forward, and he he made this team grind its way into the playoffs. And while it's not sexy, it's been probably, like I've said it before, one of the most impressive, unimpressive runs we've seen. I mean, we're talking 9-match unbeaten streak, and even further back, it's only one loss on time in their last 16 matches, which is, if you think about it, that's just an outrageous thing for a team that hasn't really impressed anybody. But how many teams can say they've done that in their last 16 matches? And the only loss is the red card St. Louis match. That red card doesn't happen, you're looking at 16-match unbeaten streak, on time, that is. Mm-hmm. We do have to keep in mind that. And I want to add that in those 16 matches, 2 of those matches were against Seattle, both 1-1 draws.
Right. Again, we'll come back to that. Let's come back to that, because tight affairs, which, you can read a lot of different ways. But first, let me just go. I shared this video clip on the afterburn.soccer. Again, that is a web URL, afterburn.soccer website. Just Nico, I asked him. Well, we'll just play it again. And I asked him about what he said to the team this week in the midst of all this pressure to make the playoffs. Let's listen to him again.
Coach, I'm just curious, managing a team with all these personalities and players, especially when the results aren't necessarily going your way. The team has been playing well, but you needed a big win tonight. You got it. I'm curious if this past week, if you did anything to shift the mood a little bit, to take the pressure off of the team, have a little bit of fun, or was it just business as usual?
Yeah, I think we mix a little bit both, to compete in the trainings, to work, but also have moments that they can get relief about the pressure and have fun. But the most important thing that we did this week is we showed them how much we love them. We don't care about the final result. We don't care about how things, if they work hard, if they give everything, we're going to be very proud of them. And no matter how you go in a personal life or in the professional life, we show love. We love them. Every single one of them are great people, and they put so much effort. And we just show them that if you make a mistake, if you do something that is not going in the way, we don't care. If you put 100% there, we are going to still loving you. And I think it was important. We had a great chat last night with all the team, and we opened up a little bit, each of one, talking about the feelings, how we were feeling, how we approach things. And I think it was great to hear some of the experiences of some of the players. And you could see today that the team was focused and open to go without holding in their backs things. And I think sometimes we forget that love is very strong.
Sometimes we forget that love is very strong. I mean, Ted Lasso, I was sitting right next to him. It was nice to meet him. He came out of the locker room. He chatted with me at Dignity Health Sports Park. Was really personable. And just, you saw Nico. You saw what the Hunt family want from their head coaches, people who are family-oriented. Put that in quotes, because whatever that means, it means a lot of different things to different cultures and different people. But there was something about that last night that just, I thought, vindicated a little bit his leadership with the team, of just there is a bigger picture. You want to make the playoffs. You want to be a championship level team, but at the same time, there's a bigger picture of life going on here, and regardless of how things go, because sometimes soccer is a cruel sport, that doesn't mean one's worth is all bound up in what happens on the field. So I just absolutely love that response. I almost invited him to preach at my church on Sunday. I think they were flying back late that night, but because I do think that's a message that a lot of people, not just soccer players, need to hear. But nonetheless, I felt like there was a little bit of a vindication of Nico's patience with this team and his attitude, and we've seen similar from Lucci and others. So this is not there are coaches like this who approach it from this perspective, and maybe the coaches who are a little harsher on players, and maybe they can get their approach. But I felt like this was a little bit of a plus in Nico's leadership, and it gave him, of course, more time to see his vision through for this team. Of course, we'll see over these next 3 matches kind of what unfolds. So let's just shift right away to that. I mean, Seattle's one of the best defensive teams in this league. They went into St. Louis, won 2-0 to close out the regular season. So they're also in very good form. Ishmael, are you scared? Are you? I mean, for a little while during the match, FC Dallas was poised to face Los Angeles FC, which would have been nice just to be something different. But now they're going to play Seattle yet again, the Pacific Northwest team yet again. How excited are you about this run of matches, and how do you think FC Dallas is going to measure up against Seattle?
I mean, I prefer Seattle, if I'm being honest. I think that the Seattle play style lends itself a little bit better to what Dallas wants. I think that LAFC games have always been a crapshoot, and I think that the Sounders are a very good defensive team, as we've said, but they're also not very efficient offensively. It's actually only they're usually very close 1-goal games for them, and that lends itself better, I think, to what Dallas struggles with, which is goals. I think that for Dallas, the key to these games is going to be keeping these games close, right? Like when you go to Seattle on October 30th next week, they're probably going to be compact and then try to take the opportunities as they can. And then when they go home, they're going to play a little bit more aggressively. And I think that Seattle, although they've been good, have struggled to get past that threshold. And I think we saw that against when they played Dallas in September. They were pretty good that second half, but they didn't push enough to take advantage of Dallas when they started to fall asleep in that second half, because they did. That game was pretty bad. They started out pretty good, and in the second half they kind of dismantled, and Seattle was able to take their opportunities. So, I mean, I prefer it. Seattle has always been a slight rival, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited to also see how this playoff format turns out. If it's tedious or if it's something that may be in play in the future, but yeah, I think it's better than an LAFC. I think it's probably better than a St. Louis. It would have been great to have a Houston, but that's for another day.
Right. I mean, I think I wasn't out of the. Earlier in the season, Dallas played LAFC. In LAFC, I was there, and they played really well. We're unfortunate to lose 2-1. I think even LAFC players were like, "Hey, y'all played really well. Y'all deserve more." And I don't know what Mars. Add me. What do you mean?
I think he wants to join us.
Well, come on, buddy.
He wants a link.
Send him the link, Jose.
I'll send him the link, sure.
Um, but yeah, like I thought any of these teams, I think if there's a benefit going into this off season for Dallas, is that Dallas is not going to be an easy out. You know, they're not like a San Jose or RSL or maybe even a Sporting Kansas City. Although Sporting Kansas City are playing really well right now, have a lot of momentum. Or even a St. Louis. I mean, I just don't know if St. Louis wanted to end their season with how they did against Seattle. But Dallas is going to be a tough out for any team, and played well against LAFC. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Ishmael. I'm with you. Jose, go ahead.
I honestly, I can't really agree with Ishmael on favoring Seattle because, in my view, both these teams are pretty much identical. Both have scored the same amount of goals, 41, and the big difference is Seattle allowing 5 less goals than FC Dallas, and that's really is the difference between the two of them. Both enter nine match undefeated streaks. Their top goal scorer is only has 11 goals on the year, and there's nobody else that has more than 5. While you got FC Dallas has Jesus at 12 and 2 guys behind him at 6. These teams are mirror images. Hey, what's up, Martin? Um, these teams are basically mirror images. The difference is, of course, that Seattle has been here before and Dallas hasn't. But I want to throw something that Dallas has been missing before in every encounter that they're not missing this time around, and that's leadership. Somebody who's been there, done that, who can be a rock. And Dallas added Ilara, and that guy has been something that Dallas has lacked in these kind of games in the postseason. A guy who's not going to fold, who the team can turn to when a young team can then look at this guy and go, wow, this guy is cool as hell, and isn't going to fold under this. And that's what I'm hanging my hat on. This team has yet to lose a single match that Ilara has started, believe it or not. He's only actually started 7 matches for this team. Yet to lose a single match that he has started. And he was, in fact, they've only lost 1 match that he's ever played in, and that was the St. Louis match where he was a sub. Late in the game. I think he played like 30 minutes or so. But other than that, that's what Dallas has been missing. They haven't had a player like that, that kind of experience. This team is traditionally a young team, and that's the kind of leadership that can pull a team like this through a tough. What's going to be a tough, grinded out match. I expect this match to go this series to go 3 games, and it's going to be
I'm
a
just going
grinded
to
out.
cut Jose off because he likes to talk a lot.
Go for it.
I just want to say, thank you for inviting me and shit like that. Ishmael, Nathan, nice to see you guys. Me and Ishmael have not met before. I'm Marcin, by the way.
My brother-in-law.
Hey.
And a new Rapids fan, by the way.
I could go so many ways with that. I mean, obviously, any kind of hurt that I can put on Jose, I'm gonna put on Jose.
He was
So
looking forward to
if he loses to the Rapids, which is not a great team at this point in time, I mean, last year or the year before that, yeah, sure, why not? I'm cool beans with. For him, tying with the crappiest team, I'm also okay with. You know what I mean?
He was hoping.
And
to come
another
on
thing,
here
and another thing is that they lost the cup to the Rapids. I'm even more happy with.
had to bring that up, did you?
I did. I told you I was going to, man. Come Come on.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Marcin was hoping that Dallas would lose to Los Angeles Galaxy, so he'd come here and say the Rapids did it,
Yeah.
which almost happened.
And it's not no hate against any team. Obviously, I love them all. You know what I mean? I mean, who's gonna do great? They're gonna do great and stuff. But just a little bit of beef between me and Jose makes it more entertaining.
Yeah.
You know. So
Any
what's
questions?
going on with? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, have you got any questions about?
I do have some questions because you guys are way more filled in on this than I am. Obviously, I watch more. No, I don't know how to say it, whatever. Not but I watch more world soccer than MLS. You know what I mean? But I am curious on the situation that's going on with Messi, and I am definitely, obviously, you guys are talking about it on the situation that's going with the FC Dallas and the playoffs. Where are you guys at on that?
So Messi got eliminated. We were all wondering if they were going to make it, but they actually didn't make it. Because they won the Leagues Cup, they will be in an international tournament next year. But they're done, and we don't have to worry about them, and they don't have to worry about us.
So Miami's out.
Yep.
Okay. And where is FC
I
Dallas
can't
sitting?
hear you, Rev. You're
Yeah. I
silent,
was
by
about
the
to say Nathan is on mute, I guess.
I'm on mute. Sorry about that, folks. I
there
muted
we go.
myself. That makes
And
sense. All right. Well,
Ishmael, I haven't heard a word from Ishmael, so I don't know if he's on mute too or not.
yeah, no, Ishmael is fine. So, like the playoffs are weird in Major League Soccer in that, like in many European leagues, the playoffs are for a, second, third, fourth team to try to make, or fifth, sixth team to try to make it into promotion. But yeah, Major League Soccer, it's like NBA, it's like NFL. It's like, hey, you want to win the championship, you win the playoffs. So it just adds a little element of randomness and everything to it. Credit to the Supporter Shield winner, which is FC Cincinnati this year, because that means they have been the most consistent team across the entire Major League Soccer.
But
league,
there's a curse.
There's a curse.
Win the Shield.
Yeah, often teams don't win the Shield and then win the MLS Cup. So this is the thing. So this is what I said earlier about Seattle Sounders. There is a sense in Major League Soccer that if you're a team that can just get hot in the second half of the season, so the first half of the season, not that you want to lose every game, but you draw some games, you win some games, you lose some games, but you have that kind of up and down. But you make some signings, you make some adjustments to your roster. Over the second half of the season, you just dominate. You start to win. You start getting that groove. You go into the cup. So a Supporter Shield team who has over the course of the season played fairly consistently can get that kind of moniker. But then in the playoffs, they're not as hot as this team coming in who has made the right second half signings and adjustments and gotten people healthy. It's a different little creature in a way than what we're used to, and frustrating. And so, but that's why even as FC Dallas goes to play Seattle Sounders is the kind of team that have a lot of veterans that can grind out results. They're built for the playoffs. They can go deep in the playoffs. And
they have a history of doing this.
They may not be the best team in MLS, but they might win the cup this year because of that kind of thing. But I think FC Dallas has some of those traits as well. They have some quality and some ability to grind out results that will stretch out games because, so it's a best of 3 series. And this season is weird for the playoffs because they changed everything. So best of 3 series, right? So what if FC Dallas goes, right? A best of 3 series, 0-0-0. Like, you just draw.
It's going to be draw, but it's not going to be 0-0-0. It's going to be like 1-1, 1-1.
That would be wild.
Say that again.
You have penalties in extra time, I think.
Right.
You can't end in games and draws for these.
Whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
really?
whoa.
Yeah. So you can end a 0-0 in Seattle, and then go on penalties, and then take the win there. Like legitimately, that's something you can do.
So in theory, you could have 2 draws in the first 2 games and then get eliminated if you lose both penalty.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right, we got to look that up. So this is different because I thought it was the best of 3, so it was like you could technically draw both games and then have the final third match to sort of decide. But you're saying, Ishmael, that each game could go to penalties.
Yeah, let me triple check that.
Let's check that.
So
Yeah,
Martin,
that's
MLS
kinda
playoffs
heavy.
are like you've seen NFL teams get into the playoffs and then get hot and then
Well,
get
I mean,
Super Bowl.
and that's why I'm here. I'm here to learn and stuff like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because you guys
Yeah,
have your own MLS stuff that's going on, and I have my own Euro stuff that I'm watching over there. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to find some similarities with it and whatnot,
No,
which
but
is very similar. But
Major
obviously,
League
you guys
Soccer
know
is
more about
weird.
MLS. You guys know more about MLS than I do. You know,
Right, you were
so
saying, Ishmael?
Yeah, so yeah, it doesn't even go to extra time. Every game goes to penalties. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, every
Fascinating.
round 1 game will have a winner. No ties, no aggregate score. Oh my gosh.
So there you go, Martin. I don't think we've ever actually had this in MLS before, ever.
No, this is
Where-
new. This is weird. Major
So,
League Soccer likes it, and I get it. Like I'm fine with it on a level of like Major League Soccer. We're newer. We should try to find things that appeal to American fans and whatnot. But like, come on, like I wouldn't have minded like 2 draws.
But they got
then,
this from MLS Next Pro, didn't they? MLS Next Pro has been doing this now for a couple of years, where they do the no losses, no draws. Basically, if the game goes to ends a draw, you have to go to penalty kicks, and now you're seeing MLS basically saying, yeah, we liked that, and we need to find a way to implement it in MLS. So they found a way.
There is no way that it stays next year because there's already complaints about the amount of games. There's no way it stays.
Right.
They will either shrink the regular season, which I think is going to happen at some point, or they're going to shrink the playoff structure. It's going to change again next year. I feel like this is a one-off.
I disagree. I disagree because I think MLS wants more games. They want more games. They want more content. So the only way they shrink the regular season is if they add another tournament.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
You can,
I,
I was just about to ask you a
saying,
question.
MLS has been striving to add more content, and I think it's driven because of the Apple deal. And,
yeah,
and
but even with new content, like even adding more games, that there is going to be a turning point where the MLSPA is going to step in because
I agree.
Sure.
like it's like already I think Philadelphia, them going like very far into Leagues Cup, having CONCACAF going far in Open Cup, had like 54 games or something like that, and they haven't even started the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's too much. That's legitimately too. And the other aspect of this is, if you're going to do this, they have to like increase the roster spots. They have to.
And
There's no.
and I agree.
no-
I think what you're getting at is this is gonna basically drive them to the bargaining table again with the PA, because the PA isn't happy about it. MLS is happy with it. They like the added games. They like the added exposure. The players don't. So I agree. I think this is going to come to a head in the off season, and something will have to be worked out. Either, like Ishmael said, we can't keep this up. It's going to have to be less games, or they come to some kind of agreement. And my money is on they come to some kind of agreement, and they don't really have to do much to increase the rosters. It could be as simple as saying, hey, we'll give you 4 more roster spots, but they have to be like homegrowns, or you still can only have the 23 players on the senior, or 20 players on the senior roster. They may just do that and give you a deeper bench, something along those lines. So I think, but like you said, the PA isn't going to tolerate more games. So I think it's going to come to a head, and we'll see something this offseason. And no guarantee it'll go well either way.
Yeah, something. My whole point is that even if they don't reduce the amount of games or something, I don't think this playoff structure is going to stay the same. Like they might have like a 3-game playoff structure, like where it's like the best of 3, but either they're going to reduce the amount of teams that can make it into the playoffs, or they're going to go away with this playoff structure altogether, or they're going to reduce the regular season or something at some point, because it's like if there's already complaints now, I definitely think that the MLSPA is already in Don Garber's ear. And I mean, there's also like not the League's Cup, but the other tournament that LAFC just lost against Tigres. That's the most useless thing I've ever seen. That needs to go.
That's just like a Campeones Cup or something like that. Yeah.
That needs to go away. No one cares about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's definitely a lot of pressures. I mean, it's just it is an interesting time for Major League Soccer trying to figure out. I'm not sure this 3. I mean, I would love to reward every team who makes the playoff a home game. I think there's some benefit to that, to sort of revenue for the teams. But even if you say a 2-leg playoff, like, you'd have to go into all those like points totals and maybe some extra minutes, penalty kicks and things. It's an interesting situation for Major League Soccer to try to figure out.
And I mean, like, think about this very likely possibility that's going to end up happening this playoff season. Let's say, because Dallas is going to play the best, the team from the third place versus sixth place games, right? So that's LAFC versus Vancouver. What happens if Dallas wins their first 2 games, and then LAFC needs to play 3 games to win? Now Dallas has had an extended break in comparison with LAFC. That's my point. Like, there's so many factors to this new playoff format that I don't think were thought through. It's going to be entertaining. We're going to have fun as fans. But if that scenario were to happen, LAFC would be insanely upset. I can tell you that right now. Like, they'd be, not that they could do anything about it, but that would be something that would be complained about. You're muted again, Nathan.
You're muted again, Nathan. Also, I want to add that much like we saw with the League's Cup, the teams that are out of the playoffs, their offseason is going to be way longer than the teams that are in the playoffs because of this format. I mean, the further you go into towards the MLS Cup, the longer your season is, and the less amount of rest you'll have in the offseason. So yeah,
Sure.
I mean it's kind of interesting,
But so what I was saying when I was muted, and I apologize because I mute myself. But like seriously, for FC Dallas to go into Seattle and not get rewarded for struggling with a 1-1 draw in a tough place to play, I think that is going to unsettle some folks because.
Welcome back,
Marcin. Because going into an away place in a 2-game, 2-leg match like Champions League and other folks do, to get a draw in your opponent's house, that's a quality result in the world of soccer. So I didn't even realize. I was hoping that FC Dallas would go in, maybe get a draw in Seattle, get a win at home, then see where things go in that third game. But I guess if it's going to go to penalty kicks regardless, then that changes the thing. It changes. You go for the win, so maybe that's more exciting and entertaining soccer. But I'm not sold on that.
Do you really go for the win? That's what I'm wondering is what effect will this have in the games? I mean, if you're the underdog, would you rather just play for the draw and try to go to penalty kicks?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. What Dallas is very likely going to do is go for the first goal in the first 20 minutes, hopefully get that goal, and push that in the first 45, and then go defensive in the second half. Because at that point, you get the 1-1 or the 0-0, and you know for a fact that this week they are practicing penalty kicks after every single practice.
Yeah, and I think that's what my concern is that a lot of teams may decide, hey, we've got excellent, if you think you have excellent penalty kick takers, why wouldn't you just play defensively, try to play for the
Question.
draw? Sure. Go.
Who's here for
You're-
FC Dallas?
We're all three FC Dallas, man.
Fuck!
Okay.
I'm on the wrong chat.
All right.
All right,
Marcy, it's not too late. It's not too late.
Not too late to join
Hey,
the good guys.
you know,
Although
I will,
it can be a very torturous experience, as many fandoms are, right?
you know what? I mean, to be honest, I'm just gonna be the Rapids fan since I'm from Colorado, just so that way we, I guess, kind of have some kind of animosity.
I mean, sure, but the only fans that are more miserable than the FC Dallas these days is the Colorado fans. So,
Bro, I'm Polish. I've been miserable my whole life. Okay.
they embrace it then.
Well, look, we need to wrap up the show. We're already 40 minutes in, and so I guess here's the question: Jose, Ishmael, Marcin, if you want to, can FC Dallas get the job done over Seattle Sounders?
Yeah.
I will cheer for FC Dallas all day, but when the Rapids play FC Dallas, I will be against.
Sure.
All right, that's fair. I think they can. Like I said, these teams are going to play very similar. They're both going to try to basically score a goal and hold on for the win. Both of them. I mean, Seattle, same amount of goals. That's ridiculous, Both come in with 41 goals. Both come in with great defenses. Both of them are going to basically try to win 1-0 or go to the draw. And so in that style of game, yes, absolutely, FC Dallas has a shot. And I'm going to tell you what this is. I'm a pugilistic fan. I watch all sorts of fights. And we call this a crossroads match. You've got the young team against the old veteran team, both playing similar styles, and it's a crossroads match. Will the young team unseat the old team, be best in them at what they do? And I think that's what this is. And it's a good old-fashioned crossroads match.
All right. We'll take it. We will take it. Well, appreciate your time tonight, Jose, Ishmael, Marcin. Thank you for joining us. We'll, of course, upload the audio later for our podcast. And also this week, I have some post-game comments from Paul Arriola and Martin Paz from this past weekend action against LA Galaxy that I will also be posting as well as some bonus content. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Let's do it. Playoffs are here.
Thanks for joining us, Marcin. Thanks for joining us, Ishmael.
Oh, no. Next weekend, I'll be here. I'm going to do some reading. I'm going to do some watching. So.
All right. Nice. Good night, everybody.
We have something we can talk about. See you guys.
Good night.